I did it. I did it. I thought about it. And then for the last 4 weeks I thought, I'm doing it. Time for change. That's it. There's been a few times in my life I've had a fringe. Hi! My new look. that's my name. Hello. I've checked it off. It's good to have change. Feel better now. I just wanted something a bit more edgy. So who knows? I might put the red on underneath next, because I can colour my hair myself. I thought, no. Oh right, okay. Sorry, it must have clicked off. The light clicked off.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. What's
Good. Good evening.
Good evening. What's brought up this really beautiful, refreshing change in you?
It had to be done.
Right. Is it for any particular reason, or?
I like to have a change, but my hair being the way it was before, I've had it like that for about 5 years. That's the longest ever since being 16.
Right.
That I've had the hair the same.
Yeah. It looks cool.
I thought it would. I thought it needs to be done. I had it done last time when I was at the barn, but my hair was brown then.
Yeah. No, I like it.
And then I did it a bit darker, but then I put red in.
Yeah.
So I might put red in underneath. Not yet. I don't need to. Yeah, I like it. I like a good change. So how are you doing anyway?
I'm really good, thank you. Thank you for asking.
I went out yesterday. I started at 9:30.
Yeah.
Obviously, I walked it into the city. My son did take me around a few places, but I was out till 6 o'clock. I got in the door, my feet and my ankles and everything were killing. Hello, Catherine. I couldn't get off the sofa. Literally within an hour, I started freezing, because I like to get up and do a little dance. And last night it was like, no dancing.
So where did you go?
I didn't go anywhere. Oh, yesterday I was looking at places to do treatments. But
yeah, you mentioned it, yeah.
The last one, she had me talking afterwards because she's a Reiki master as well.
Right. So
and then she started talking about
synergy or collaboration.
All 3 places are. So I may work at 2. I'll just see how I'm going to program it in the system with my engineers. Thank you, Gavin. Nice, Leicester. Last time I went to Leicester, clubbing years and years and years ago. I had to drive back in the middle of the morning. Like 3 o'clock in the morning, but we used to it back then. So yeah, she's a Reiki master. So we just got chatting afterwards. However, she was saying that Joy's had a closeness, what she felt spiritually, to her granddad, even though she didn't know him hardly. She said she felt spiritually as if her granddad was looking after her. And she didn't tell me anything else. And then I said, I just happened to say to her, was his name Harold? I said, and he actually used to wear a cravat or like a scarf over his clothes, you know, but within his shirt and coat. It's just like a cravat.
Yeah.
And she said, yeah. So she then showed me a photo because she said, you're not going till I've showed you this photo. So I was there longer than
How
I should have been.
Stuff like that.
So once I get open and I have my location, I will be doing some discounts for some clients anyway.
Yeah. Thank you.
But they're equally good places. The last one is it's just a housing unit. Everybody rents there, but they've made it very much comfy home, chintzy style. That's how it is. You're welcome, Gavin. Join in. Come, you know, more the merrier. Go here.
Yeah, absolutely.
More the merrier to join in. So, but I'm not going to make a rush decision on anything. But all the ones that I viewed yesterday were suitable for different qualities. But I could work at 2 different places, and if I get the guys, I've got to have the meeting with them on Monday because I'm making some adjustments. But the client management system and the booking system, because I'm trying to accommodate Rosie, because Rosie only wants to, if Rosie does massage, she only wants to massage females.
Yeah.
So there's no booking system that allows you to just select women or men. So I've got to try and get our, you know, they're the tech guys.
Yeah.
They're my friends. Shami, he's Indian. He's Muslim Indian, but he lives in England. But he's just come back from India. Last year, I would help him out because I had to look after some of his leads and customers.
Yeah.
He said to me, please, could you look after him, sir? Yeah. I had a quick chat with him yesterday, but I said to him, we don't have time for a meeting, and I don't want to get in the door on a Friday night and then start having to chat. I just wanted silence last night. My fan calls were having some aches and pains. So have you been out today at all?
Not really, not yet. But maybe later on I will.
I walked it into the city again, so I thought, I'm not staying in. I'm going out for a bit.
Good.
Even though I don't really go out in the evening anymore. But
what did you look at when you went out?
Well, I was looking at a little dress because I do like my little boho gothic dresses. So I saw a nice. Yeah, it got the like the Chinese and the Japanese way, you know, where you got a little button at the top and then it's got a little circle. But it was more of a pleated dress. It was in navy, but yeah. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Well, we're just brother and sister, but you know, you're welcome for a treatment. I'll always look after you. Like a lot of my clients have become friends over the years.
It's about like the rapport you build, isn't it? So I think.
Yeah. Oh, fake. I've got a fake account. This marketing online, I keep getting numerous follows from it. It's because I've been speaking to the digital marketers and the affiliate marketers, and a lot of people. Do you know what I find in that sort of sector? They sort of talk to us if you don't know what you're talking about. You know, the sales technique is really poor, I think. But anyway, from a scammer's perspective, they can't get anywhere with me. I just twist them up in knots. But by all means, not that I'm looking for anything with you. I'm being very straight with you. You know, but by all means, if you want to come for the treatment, and
Yeah.
I don't discount guys, but you know, I can understand why some people do. I even had
Yeah, I can as well. Yeah.
I've had male massage therapists years ago, and one guy he came straight out of the treatment and he went, "Claire, I've got to tell you, this woman's going to make a fictitious sexual complaint against me." Because you were quite a young guy, you were like, 25, 26. But I can hear everything that's going off in the next room, you see. So, but I'll probably be wearing my body cam anyway.
Yeah, well, you've got nothing to worry about, but just read the last one that I've put.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I do know that a lot. You just be careful around that, okay?
I've got about 10 years experience with scammers, all sorts.
Yeah, well,
From the very first moment that somebody tried to impersonate me and steal my photo. They went into my Facebook, picked one of the photos. I got told pretty quickly, but I would have looked for it. And hi, yay, and what? Hey, I see you guys. I see you sometimes when you come in. But if you want to join in the conversation, but I soon shut it down. That's what I do. Black Widow, yeah. I needed a change, so I'll go for it. But I stamped it out. That's why some fake accounts they won't put videos on. But it's like I say to anybody, if you're real, you'll be able to put a fresh video on, and
yeah,
you see through bullshit anyway. I do.
yeah.
Pardon? Pardon? I don't know. I can't go. You can't go. You have to go. he said he can't go. You're welcome. Hey, when I was younger, I worked with all guys. I've worked in a bar years ago. Right. But my boss, he was quite cool actually. We used to stay in the bar afterwards, or when we all felt like going clubbing. That ended up quite crazy. But we all used to have a lot of banter. Yeah. Those Sunday mornings of waking up and then doing everybody a cooked breakfast and then having to be back at work at 11 o'clock. Not pretty, but I wouldn't be able to do it now. But back then. Good afternoon. Peace and blessings. So I do have a topic to talk about today. Rosie, babes, I was having a little chuckle to myself while I was earlier today. I was doing some sharing, retweets, whatever, sharing videos. I have a little chuckle to myself thinking about you. You missed me. Yesterday I did come on for a brief bit while I was walking about, and then I found 3 places. So I'm going to think about it. I'm not rushing anything, even if it takes me a month. I could do it in a week. But I thought, do you know what? I will think about it. And for yourself, do you like it, babes? Hey, I thought with menopause and watching this in the last 2 or 3 years, going, no, gravity, fuck's sake. Shit. Face yoga. I just thought it went, the face looked longer. Deception. Chameleon. Oh. I thought so. I thought it's got to be done. I've been thinking about it for a month, and I've been looking at different ones, and I thought, no, it needs just proper run, bit edgy, a bit more, rather than just a bit of it. And I thought I can always go it back to that if I want, or if I want to mess around with it and paint it a bit red underneath. You know what I mean? So, and then I've got my colour. This one of the ladies crocheted it me. I paid it. She's in TikTok, but the only thing is when you try and get it on, it's so fiddly. I stand there for a good fight. And normally I can just get a chain on straight away. Like this one, I'm thinking, oh no, it's not easy to get on. So that's why I've not worn it as much. But I need a new dog collar there. Yeah, I just thought the golf season coming out soon, you know what I mean? Autumn, so. Autumn change. I've got a topic, so. And just so you know, just to give you a little update, I just said before you came on, I've got to have the meeting with Shami on Monday. They're the web guys that I work with. Well, they're engineers actually. You know what I mean? Proper engineers. But he's the one that I use the VoIP off, because obviously I've got a VoIP number. But the CRM is actually attached to the website. That's how they're programmed, you see. So if somebody fills in a contact form, it goes into the CRM. If someone books, it goes into the CRM. So it's their system. But 2 years ago, I got them to make some changes in it. So now it's more adaptable in the way that it can be built and grown. So there is no system, technically, that would allow you to pick gender. I checked last night because I used to, my old Medispa, I used Mind Body, which obviously they're a worldwide company, but I use them the whole time for the 10 years. They don't do it. And Fresher, which is the other type of booking system, there's lots of other salon type ones, but they're the most popular for instant bookings. But mine does anyway, because as soon as you book through the website, it goes through Stripe. So I'm having a meeting on Monday with some of the things, but I've brought it up about how to do a drop-down box in the back of the system that will be selected only to females, so that only females can book. I'd have to see really, really how I could get it to do it. So that is a bit of a something mark. But the salon was nice that I went to down at Hillsborough. That's all grey. She's got chairs. She's actually got 3 rooms. She's got her room. She's a nurse prescriber, but she actually said she does more teaching in Manchester, so she's not always there. And then she told me, she went, I've been a bit cautious of people of late because people have been letting me down, or, they've not paid. And I said, well, I'm old school. I says, I just need somewhere steady that I can do my thing. If I want to do 2 treatments a day, or I want to do 3 treatments, I says, or if I don't want to do treatments, so that one's all right. And then the third one was a shop, so that's just empty. but it's got a little kitchen in it, and toilet and sink and everything's next door. But it's clean. You know what I mean? It's just white, grey. So it had a beauty therapist in it for 15 years, but she fell ill. So that's why it's come empty. So that's on Exel Road. And then the other ones at Brum Hill, not that that would matter to you, but people of Sheffield would know. It's the practice rooms, but it's like a room rental service, basically. So you become a member of their place. Once you're a member, you can use technically any place around England that they've got, because they've got a few. But the rooms are very chintzy, Edwardian, but, so it's like coloured chests, chairs, and you just they've got therapy beds there. So what you do is, I'd have to show you how to do it, but no one can get in the building without buzzing the buzzer. They buzz the room. Red is not easy to wear. I went out earlier, and bear in mind I was in the hairdressers, so then my red lipstick started smudging, and then I had hair all over my face that I thought, thank gosh I haven't put all black eye makeup on today. And then there's this makeup company on here that I've looked at. I like wearing red, and they've actually got some red eyeshadow, but they've got some blacks. And then I've seen a nice black, but it's a glitter. It's a glitter black for lips. So I get that as well. So it was a decent place, you know what I mean? So people can't get in that place either without them actually buzzing the door. And what they do is they buzz your room to whatever room you're working in, because this one's got 10 rooms in it on 3 floors. All right. You just set your bed up, you set your bits up, and you put your stuff away, and and then you leave there. There's psychotherapists in there, psychiatrists in there, Alexander Technique therapists, Reiki therapists, massage therapists. She said they've got 90 members so far. But afterwards, she got talking to me about the parapsychology, because she wanted to talk about ghosts and spirit and family on the other side, because she's a Reiki master as well. Because she said to me, what energy do you pick up in here? And I said, actually, it's very pleasant for an old building. I said, there's no, I don't pick up any not nice residual energy or anything. I said, whereas the house, it was a flat in a house. It was a big Edwardian house. It was behind Endcliffe Park that we lived in years ago, many years ago. This is when Louis Joe were young, before I had children. But it massive ceilings. My living room was like 30 foot wide. It had big white marble fireplace, big lights in the cupboards. You could sit in the window type thing. Big massive windows in it. But we all shared different flats in it, and it had its own big massive drive and backfield to it. But within the first couple of months of me moving in there, I started asphyxiating in my sleep, being pulled out of bed, and Ash started seeing it. And I actually went to a psychic, because this is when I really started. We were making everything, started practicing and stuff. And she actually picked it up. She goes, you're being punched and hit and pulled out of your bed. And I says, yeah. I've been asphyxiating when I woke up. And she says, move the room, which really technically in Feng Shui, you shouldn't sleep underneath. You always sleep above the living room. So I moved it to the dining room, because we had a big dining room, living room, bedroom upstairs, kitchen, bathroom, everything. But it was tanked out underneath for this bedroom. But we moved it upstairs. A month later, I got paralysed in bed. When Jin is paralysed, completely paralysed. But I woke up knowing what to do, which is wiggle your toes to get yourself going, and then wiggle your feet in so you can get motion. But at the same time, I looked over at Ash, and I saw a spirit transfigure on him. I saw a Jin, smokeless, but looked like spirit, but with dark hair. I could see all the features. I woke him up. He woke up, and he said he saw two red darts. But I didn't feel quite right in that flat. We didn't live there long before we sold it. And then there was one house at Lidsburg. As soon as I moved in, the Hoover was switching off. We went to bed one night, got bed at one side, and it was quite a big bedroom, because it was a big Edwardian 3-story house, you know what I mean? So as we've gone to sleep, you know, dimmers, you can't switch dimmer on without pressing it to go on. The dimmer came on in the bedroom. He absolutely freaked out. It was like, what the fuck? We're going off. And I said to him, go to the pub and go and ask him. I says, I think someone was murdered upstairs. I says, sorry, they got stabbed on the door. I says, and they died upstairs on the 3rd floor. I says, this guy. I says, go and ask him. I says, and not longer. I says, within 7 to 15 years. And they asked, and they said, yeah. And they went, how did she pick that up? So we were talking about residual energy, you know, and obviously what jinn and I said, because she says, you know, how do you bridge the gap between your loved ones? I says, well, God bridges the gap. If you're meant to hear and see from your loved ones in spirit, I says, you will do. I said, it's like a bridge. They'll either be in their heavenly reality or they'll be living in a very shitty, helly reality. I says, because it depends what type of soul we are. The more, I suppose, we understand the other side, a lot easier, isn't it? From an astral perspective. On the other side, oh, right, I'm a soul now. Live in this ether. But I said that to her. I says, you know, you will see them again. I says, it's just that a lot of people tend to discount exactly what is going off. Right. So I didn't get in the door till quite late. And I'm not joking, I didn't walk that far. Bear in mind, only 6 years ago, 7 years ago, I was walking 10 miles a day. Now, even if I must have done 4 or 5. I came in within an hour of sitting on the sofa and chilling. Couldn't move my ankles. And normally I'm, you know, I'll probably have a little boogie on a Friday night, or I had a little exercise this morning. Did a little bit of qigong with some breath work. Meditation in the motion, as a Sufi does. Right. Practicing my Watsu moves with nobody in my arms. Mid-air, not in the water. So did you do anything, Rosie, yesterday? Or did you just stay in last night? I did. I'm doing a bit more of my crochet. No. Normally, I've done a lot more than this, because I know when I've done blankets, right? I'll see when we're still. Oh yeah, it was a black moon. Oh, yeah. Normally I'm out at the window, looking at the skies, looking at the stars. But last night, I literally, my ankles, they were hurting. And I thought, gosh, trying to get fit and going down, I'm like, oh no, what's happening to my brain? So I've made it a bit wider, but it's going to be a dress. But I've got a satin dress to go underneath it as well. Nice one, sweet. Buzzing. Buzzing. Yes, believe. I believe. Believe and receive. Believe in yourself. Believe in your own worth. Do you think green is my favourite? Do you think I could have green under the hair? What I did was, oh, don't let go. Never give up. You're true, are you? What are you true blue? What are you true about? Who are you true to? So I bought that from Marks and Spencer's. Just nice. Well, it's actually meant to be I think like a 90, but even it's long. So I thought it could go over that. But even years ago, I've bought Marks and Spencer's like to the knee. Right, sound breastplate. True to yourself. Right, I'm not asking anything of you, and I'm not sure what it is that you tried to prove, but I bought one Rosie in baby pink and baby blue, and I put black shorts on underneath, black pops on, and black patent leather high boots, and off I went clubbing. Those were the days. Thinking, yeah. I just saw him about Spence. I thought, oh, I know the nightwear wore like underslips or something. Because I was thinking, well, it could be a nightie, but could be an underslip. Actually, no, I'm wearing that. Yeah. So those were the days. Pop socks. Pop socks. So yeah, being feared versus being respected. That's my topic today. So if you're new to my streams, I'm a Sufi mystic, everyone. I would love to let you know, but here. You would like to let me know what exactly? Just say what you've got to say. Or find other way of communication. Communication is the key. So, but if you don't say it, then okay. Summertime sadness. I just want you to know. The baby, can you imagine any guy would look at me and say, "Oh, baby, you're the best." No, actually, Rosie, why don't we just say, oh, I'm the best? You know what I mean? Ooh la la. So, as you step into the space of depth, honesty, and alignment, you know when you feel aligned. So yeah, like I said, I'm Clare. I'm a Sufi mystic. I'm a clairvoyant. I know nothing other than at this time of my life, I like to spread joy, be peace, happiness. I like my quiet times. I bet you like yours last night, Rosie. That's what I did. Came off my tech. Sometimes I do. You know what I mean? I stop. I have moments on, moments off. So I'm into Stoicism. I'm a Sigma female. So even though I do have a dominatrix side of me, I'm not more of an alpha. I'm a Sigma, meaning I do my own thing. You know, I don't need to be a leader. I don't need to validate anything. When it happens, okay. I don't mind anybody knowing anything as long as it's not my private life or things that are private to someone else. Whether it's my friends, whether it's my family, or Yeah, I don't go and spread shit. So yeah, I used to be I used to be a therapist. Actually, I am a therapist. I'm getting back into it, but I'm also a guide, basically, because I'm always seeking clarity. I'm always seeking balance. The power beyond the noise of this world. Am I married? No. I am spiritual. I'm spiritual and religious because I love God. The God of this universe is the earths, the heavens, of humans, other beings, jinn, angels. The things that we see and the things that are unseen. The things that God allows you to see. My perception always changes because I'm always rearranging. I'm a poet, so I'm the type of person that takes action. Yeah. I don't just talk it, I walk it. But we're happy in the silence as well. So this is a time to reflect. Grab your journal if you've got your journal. If you're into journaling, I think the only thing that you have to fear about God is when you get to the end of your life, if you haven't really repented and gone around repeating cycles or doing some really shitty things in your life. But from the perspective that fearing God, the Creator, God is love, God is kindness, God is mercy. So really, if you try to attain the persona of the prophet, say, and the energy of an angel, if you follow God's commandments, which civil and common law is based upon, things are relatively easy. Life can be as simple as you want it. But that's why this topic is about being feared or being respected. You know what I mean? And I don't really mind now not being liked by people if that's what people want to do. I don't assume anything in their life. I've learned that over the last 20 years not to assume. It's ask that yourself by doing it. Better to ask questions, seek knowledge, find the answers. Work at things. Time to rise. So, just like my energy, I'm not serious and fun, but I try to make things casual and relaxed as I can. Personal and professional life. I've learned more so over the last 6 years or more to be me, try to be as authentic as I am. That's regardless whatever people are into or what's their thing or their genre. If it makes them happy, yeah. But I use my mindfulness and meditation as a time for the stillness, is a time to reflect. Reflect on what you want, what you don't want. Reflect on your own boundaries. The things that you say that you're going to do and the things that you're not going to do, or the things that you accept, the things that you won't accept. Things that you'll compromise on, the things that you won't compromise. But if you want, while you're in these sessions, you're welcome to grab a pen and write these things in your journal. It might just stir something inside you. It might help you to transcend through the changes. As I know, the only way to heal something really is face something. Yeah. Or when something comes to the surface. There's a time and a place to have certain discussions. you know, but by waiting and being patient with oneself. That's why over the years, if you take accountability of yourself and responsibility, nobody else can impose and project their fears onto you. So control mechanisms don't work. What, you want me to be the director, the orchestrator? I've been a boss. You know what I mean? The boss, the plane, the plane. No, I've been a director. You know what I mean? I'm a flowing type person, but from a spiritual perspective, because I understand that people how they are, which is fine. Sometimes I'm a good mirror. Not because, you know, I'm trying to be cruel or unkind in any kind of way, but sometimes I see something from a healing perspective that, as I said yesterday to that lady, I've just learned over the years, even 20 years ago in doing therapy, that in consciousness, some people are not ready. They're just not ready to receive. It's just, it freaks them out. Or they're just like, put the phone down. No, I'm not ready to receive that. So I always ask certain questions to find out what level somebody will be able to perceive at and comprehend without finding something too out there, too way out there, too obtrusive, or even too personal to them. Because healing, like life, you have to peel the layers of the onion away to actually be able to see the deeper, the inner. The beauty of the inner is that you can be in your own world and you can hide a lot. You know, that's why they say you put the masquerade on, the mask. But once you get yourself to a perspective that you know your own no value or worth, or you're around company that will encourage you, make you feel better, you know, not to boost your ego or anything, but to really show gratitude and show you your own empowerment. When somebody gives you that respect and believe in you, you stand up straight. The glint in your eye, you smile, you feel at peace and feel at calm in those situations. To be feared is to control another's body or somebody's mind. You know, to be respected is to reach their soul. I know nothing, but I can say what I've learned from my senses, or I've learned from my experience, personal experience, that I can draw upon. But I'm very much of a reflective person, and I wish more people were like that rather than judgmental, you know, to actually reflect on yourself and reflect on other people's situations, you know, and that way you get to understand. Power, it divides kingdoms, it builds empires, but sometimes destroys friendships and shapes the ways that others remember us. But there's a difference between the trembling silence of fear or the quiet nod of respect. Why? What do you want to know? I don't mind answering any questions. That's what these live streams are. If people want to put questions, you know, on my social media pages, I do answer them. It takes quite a long time to get to know me. I'm very hard to read. I've been told that by a lot of psychic mediums over the years. That yeah, I'm not easy to read. But I think that's because I'm in my own empowerment over the years as a mystic. Yeah, looking at the joy and the wonder of life, the awe of the sunrise and the sunset. You know, if I'm doing something like yesterday, even though I came back and was in pain, I thought, well, there's a lesson to it. You know, what is it? Go through menopause. You know, there are things that I'm lacking in my hormones that may be affecting some of the reasons why, you know, doing 10 miles 6 years ago, yeah, I was in pain at the end of it. But even doing 4 or 5 now, it was quite painful. It's getting up and getting on, not giving up. Otherwise, I'll be back to doing nothing at all. But it's also, you know, acknowledging realistically your limits. That's why if you work on your weaknesses and not always your strengths, you become more balanced. That's why when you accept your shadows, but you embrace it, but say if you try to improve it, you know, you can make changes in any area of your life. Well, that's the beauty of life. You can choose what you share and how you share it, can't you? Find those that you can trust. That's what I would say. Yeah, so fear demands compliance. It bends people into obedience, which isn't good, really. But while the threat looms, over the years, like I've done, I've removed the threat from people. When people project their fear or blackmail, or, you know, if you don't do this, I'll do this, or I'll do this if you do this, or whatever you do, whatever they're projected, your fear or their fear, because obviously if you install the fear in yourself, which it could start with anxiety or whatever, to the point where like someone can have you not believing in yourself pretty quickly, you know, because you've been compliant to somebody projecting their fear onto you and a sense of control, even if it's very subtle. And I think you know, that's why even as a transcendent Sufi myself, you know, when it sometimes can seem like we're not listening or we're not paying attention, but we go into a very trance-like state that we're actually hearing and seeing things and perceiving things on a very different level. So even if it's subtle, we can pick it up. You know, I don't want to say that everything is a red flag. It's not. You know, sometimes people have fear from coping mechanisms. You know, they've found ways of being able to cope with a situation. But I think also, you know, many people, the reason sometimes like we get angry is because being bitter and resenting a situation. You know, but that's why I say in my little taglines, my little ditties sometimes, my little poetry ditties, even if they're 3 words. You know, being better, not bitter. Think about it. History is filled with kings, dictators. We've got politicians now, you know, trying to be the bosses. You know, but who is the boss? You're the boss of your own life. And don't fear anything. Feel the fear and do it anyway. Trust your heart, you know, and your second heart technically is your solar plexus, you know, your stomach. You know. We love God. We love our very creator. We bow down only to God. You know. No mortal man or woman would I bow down to in any fear, in truth. I can compromise, I can listen, but that's why I always make my own decisions and choices. So that's why many people believe that through fear, right, Allah's the one and truly God. Alhamdulillah. Our creator, our shaper, our maker. The one that created the sun, the moon, the stars, the earth, and every other being, and new beings that we're not going to know about in the future. If God wants to create another planet, being it is. If God wanted to create another type of being, he can. That's the beauty of believing in things that are not unlimited. Why limit our own lives, let alone our own capacity in understanding, let alone limiting our love? That's why love has got different levels. Love always overcomes fear. And that's why reminding yourself, to like yourself and love yourself, most importantly. And if you don't, why not? Because if you don't, then there may be things that you're feeling and seeing in yourself or that other people have done through fear that have made you feel that way. And we're not meant to feel that. Fear is very, very shallow, whereas love is a vibration and, it's unlimited, continuous. So respect, however, is a deeper root. Respecting yourself. Very, very important. If other people respect you, even better. But it's not demanded. I used to say to people years ago, respect is earned. It's not something that's automatic. Why? Why should I respect somebody? What have they done for me? What could they do for me? But I'm a great believer in using things, not using people. But when you can find collaboration, cooperation, compassion, you can turn anything over with love. I don't like it when people use fear or project that type of behaviour onto other people. But that's why over the years it's a reflection of who somebody is, truly in their heart and soul. That's why I'm a great believer in integrity. Talk is cheap. But integrity is, once you have that about yourself, you follow the rules. But if the path changes, you just adjust. Just like it says, if you're about and you have your own relationship with yourself and you like the relationship with yourself, you want to have relationships with other people, but this should be congruent to your truth, your beliefs, your values. It doesn't matter if you have things that you're similar in common with or not. So what? You might be into motorbikes or painting house red. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to get on with you. Same as I've had friends that have been total stoneheads, hippie heads, to corporate heads that have also been stoneheads, but same as, but we've all been different. I wouldn't not necessarily hang around with somebody that liked to drink, but I'm strong enough in myself to not be coerced or persuaded into something that I didn't want to do myself. But if you have that love between you, you go a lot further in new relationships. So yeah, being consistent, having the integrity and the courage to say what you mean and live by what you say. Not say something and then later, oh sorry, I didn't mean it. Well, why say it? That's what I've learned over the years. Don't get me wrong, I do like good conversations, but sometimes I just say what I need to say. Not just talking for talking's sake. Always looking at the purpose of something, or why am I doing something, or why is somebody else doing something? What's their intention? And it's not nice to fear anyone, or fear that you cannot communicate and be true and honest and sincere with somebody and congruent with your own integrity. To be respected is to embody the values that you claim you stand for. What you stand for or what I stand for might be totally different things. Sometimes there's an alliance, or a mutual understanding. But I think, this is what I've learned to do over the years, being me, trying to be just being me. Even when no one's watching, just try to be alright with myself and alright with others. What do you mean? Trustworthy, sweetie, and the world isn't now. What do you mean? The world isn't now. Just say, get what you mean, if you want to explain that. Live in the power of now. Live in the present moment. If opportunities come your way, or you see things, or new relationships, or new encounters that you want in life, new experiences, you have to go for them. See, ask yourself this: do people step back when you enter the room, or do people feel terrified? Or do they rise tall, or do they go out feeling better and feeling more inspired instead? Do people listen because they must, or do people listen because they want to? There's no point to it, really. By not being true to yourself, or not being true to your own heart and mind, that's how you miss out on things. People, places, circumstances. It's just better not to lie, really. Because in the end, you lie to your own heart. Because then it's quite easy for your mind to take over, because a lot of people operate in the fear of the mind, you see. So then before you know it, especially when you don't breathe and center yourself in balance, you can become unfocused and you can feel the fear from other people because it's a projection. And nobody should make anybody feel like that, in honest truth. But as I said, you should come away from situations or opportunities or times, to build happy memories with people, to come away feeling a lot better. Inspired, even if you inspire one person. True power is not forcing somebody into something. You're there because you want to be there. It's like caring and sharing. because you want to do it, not because you have to, not because you've been coerced into it. You're doing it out of the free will of your own heart. Be yourself, be you, being you. Simple. The true power is not forcing anything, letting things flow. Like anything, letting things grow. But someone might not always remember what you say. Not to say that people don't remember what you say, because there are some things that people have done and said over the years. I can't shake them off what they said. But it doesn't mean I've embodied it or I've become any different. I'm still loving and myself. But also the happy memories, or what I've embodied as happy memories and happy times, is what, I take away the most. I try to let the decisions and choices that other people make not impact my decisions and choices. So other people's decisions and choices doesn't impact my decisions and choices and how I feel about myself. Only I can change how I feel about myself. I don't want to try to convince somebody, or as some people might think, chasing another. I don't want to convince another. I've just learnt to be me being me. In any situation. Whether it was in a box, whether it was in the playground, whether it was in the street, whether it was in work, whether it was just embodying, who I am. Being true to myself. And if it encourages other people when I'm here and doing coaching, that's what empowerment is. In transcendence or in healing per se, even though technically I try to say to people we're not the healer, in a way we are, because God is facilitating through us. What it is it's giving you the capacity to be able to do it yourself. So I took that out. Thank you. I know I'm special. Even my mum said it as a child. I must have been an angel. Because I used to say to her at 3 years old, I'll look after you, mummy, even if other people hurt you. Don't believe them, is what I used to say. Don't believe them. Or if somebody chooses to be violent or hurtful, I don't necessarily judge somebody. I try to look at the reason. I don't excuse it necessarily, because it's not about excusing someone's behaviour. But I'm a great believer that because we're all adults, that technically it's not about wearing my heart on a sleeve either, but it is in a way. But I'm congruent in the fact that, hello, you're an adult. You should know the difference in right and wrong. People know when they're hurting someone. They can't say, oh, well, I didn't know I was doing it. If people say that, then they're a psychopath. But that's why over the years, I don't really succumb to other people's fears or terrors. I'm just grateful. I'm grateful every single day now. I'm grateful for the experiences, and I'm grateful for what I have and what I've overcome. The obstacles that I've actually overcome have made me congruently a stronger woman. This isn't like the physical strength. This is actually the spiritual strength that I have inside myself. but us, it doesn't matter whether I was a Sufi, whether I was a Buddhist, or whether I was born into a Hindu family, Catholic family, or whatever. I believe that your heart and soul is who you are as a human being. I know a lot of times, I sometimes think to myself, not when people meet me personally, but like online and stuff, a lot of people would then misjudge my heart, thinking that there's something, more, or I'm playing, or surely I'm not like that. But, I am. Now, even in negative situations, I try to find the fun and laughter even in negative situations. I don't stay down for too long. I have this sort of distasteful but courageous spirit that some people don't like, to just be resilient and get on. So if I hear other people's negative chatter, that's why I don't try to go, oh, I don't want to be around negative people, or I can't go into that situation. I might not like it. It was like years ago in business, people were having parties and stuff. I might not necessarily, they might not like me, or people would probably, or vice versa. But I didn't shy away from things. Same as also I was myself and was nice. But if people, I can buy, I can be sarcastic, but not nasty. You know what I mean? I just have a way of, if I want to, as well as empowering somebody, disempowering somebody as well through their fear, or through their limited consciousness, to put someone down or make someone feel shit. Or the schisms, as we say. A lot of people say racism. It's schisms, really. It's the ignorance in another. Because technically, as human beings, we all come from one human being, Adam and Eve. Because if God hadn't made the decision to create a couple in pairs, but it's nice. It's nice to have mates. It's nice to have genuine friends. The most important thing that you'll have in your life is relationships. But the ultimate one that you can have, the best one, is the relationship with yourself. So it doesn't matter what somebody's told you in the past or how somebody's made you feel. It's how you feel in the present moment that's most important. You wouldn't ever get me to turn away from God in my life. No one asks. Not to say that you would. I'm not using you as an example. When I say you, I don't like to say you very often. You know what I mean? I don't like to project you in what I mean. But from a third party perspective, without going into my story or my history or anything in the past, I've overcome some very, very traumatic myself. But as a therapist, even years ago, I didn't sit there give an example by other people to give always my own story. It was about listening to theirs and showing them their own power and how untouchable they really could be if they could just release the fear and be able to, even if it is bring something up to the surface, but trusting whoever it is, whether it's a therapist, whether it's a counsellor, or your family, who you actually can turn to talk about the things that sometimes you're scared to, through fear. Because somebody has to project fear into you in some way for you to be scared about doing something, or attaining something, or being something, or even just sorting something out. You may shy away from something, or be scared of doing something again because what somebody has done before, which would be sad. Jamaica, nice. Sheffield, Sydney, Sheffield. And just remember that words and people's actions impact each other. They impact us in some way. I would rather impact somebody positively than negatively. Sheffield, England. I live in England. I always do an introduction at the beginning of the stream, but if anybody ever asks, if you ask questions, I'll answer them. Unless if I choose not to answer something. Yeah. Sometimes even when people do hate speech and bullying, just choose not to answer. I choose not to feed the fear or feed the energy in which it's being projected from. I think it'd be nicer to be remembered as just being honest. The qualities that you embodied. And knowing that your actions have impacted others that are wanting to align to a more virtuous, righteous type of being. Fear ends when you stop letting it lead the way. Fear ends when you choose to leave and walk out of the room. Doesn't mean you close the door to it, but you may think, well, I'm just going to have a temporary respite. And fear ends even when somebody is projecting aggression, which is a level of fear, because they've got to be fearing something to want to overpower somebody with aggression or violence. Love, even when in a lot of tenuous situations, unless it gets to extreme violence stage, but most things where people are heated or debated, if you just go silent and don't feed their fear in any kind of way, they exasperate themselves out. It'd be very difficult to be my true friend while you're online and in another country. I'm realistic. I live in reality, brother. I mean, if you weren't sort of in regular communicado, it doesn't mean every day, but regular contact, that wouldn't work, would it? Over the internet, you wouldn't be able to, because I'm open, but I do have a sense of guardedness around me because I look after my own boundaries. Same as I decide who I let into my life or not. If I open the doors and someone keeps betraying me, or there's nothing I can do other than communicate my wishes, my desires. So I'm not sure in what context you mean you can be very strong. I don't really need somebody to be strong. Just be yourself. If I talk to you, I talk to you. If I don't, I won't. Most people don't get to communicate online for very long, because I've met many people that will come in live streams and say this, that, and other, and you don't hear from people. But I don't mind either way. So if you do speak to me, even in direct message, I'm honest with myself and honest with another, with my own heart. If I don't want to do something or I don't like something, you will be told. So good morning to you. If that's the Jamaican flag, rightly, I think it's a Canada flag as well, aren't you, Mr. Greybeard? What's about condition now? Why? What conditions? Tell me what your conditions are. I might just not accept them because I'm a young woman. So I always look at. So I don't like to look at life as a contract, but I look at people's terms and conditions. What is it you want? What is it you don't want? And if I want the same thing, I'll communicate I want the same thing. If I don't, I'll communicate that too. That's just how I am. Satnam. In the truest identity, in the truest form that I can be. Yeah. So respect lingers when you are the same. You're the same in any given situation. I don't know what you mean by conduction. In what context are you saying the word? So take a breath. If you really want to sit with being feared or being respected, which one do you think will last longer? What feeds the soul? See, fear is quick. You can make someone obey you with a glare, with a threat, with a punishment, but it doesn't last. Same as, that's why with children, if you talk to your children rather than shouting and screaming, then once you've done the shouting and screaming at the little things, that when it comes to a serious matter, they will not listen to you because the discipline in yourself, you've lost control because you're already shouting and screaming. So by the time they're teenagers and they're shouting and screaming, it's because you shouted and screaming, and they have no fear over the reprisal of you being congruent with your own boundaries and the truth. Instead, they undermine you and disrespect you because they know that you don't really value yourself, because a lot of people are hypocrites in their own life. And that's what the real truth is. Remember how you lived in the past, how you spoke, how you acted, how you behaved, how you treated people. Respect builds empires of love, trust, and loyalty. Fear can never buy any of that, can it? That's why fear cannot compete with love. That's why most people that are not in a loving place in their heart, fear, jealousy, greed, have to pull somebody else down, have to make up shit. They have to imagine shit that doesn't exist. They have to project it onto people. They have to gossip. They have to persuade somebody else rather than looking in their own heart and soul at themselves. The only thing that you need to look after is yourself. Notice if you are in relations with any people like your family or loved ones or a partner in your life, that you're a partnership in life. You make those decisions and choices, what your goals are and what you're going to achieve together, what your roles are, what your purpose is. I really don't like that side, though, Rosie, of some people sometimes. I see straight through it. Most of the time I'm congruent in myself. I choose not to say anything because I don't like to judge people. But sometimes this is my stream, this is my life, so this is our coaching. This is will either empower people to become better in the heart or they won't. They'll carry on being wherever they are in life. But they'll get to the end of it and realise it's how we treat people. It's like, that's why I find it funny, even a few years ago, when people tell me that they're kind. I used to listen very intently when I first meet people. When they go, "Oh, I'm kind, and I'm this, and I'm that, and this," and I wait for mass to drop off, and it does. Whereas I would rather somebody be realistic and say, yeah, I've done these things, or I've been this particular way. But most people won't because they don't want to change. So if you have got your journal, or tonight or tomorrow, or if you want to meditate on it, or you just want to be mindful of it, ask yourself, do I want to be feared or do I want to be respected? Say if you said to somebody, oh, if you do this, I'll do that. Do you think that's fear? Do you think that's something that would be horrible? I do. Whereas would you rather be respected for being congruent with yourself, knowing your heart? I know I would rather be respected even if I got turned down, or even if someone closed the door on me or rejected me. I've been true with my heart. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing weak in that. how many people could be concurrent with themselves, even regardless they get rejected 10 times, 100 times, that you're resilient enough to get up and again. There's a blessing in any situation or circumstance that we can learn from. We can learn from the negative situations as well. That's what can empower you to be a better person. It's not to try and overpower somebody. It's to know your own power in yourself. But that's what I've done over the years, especially when I was younger, and a bit more energy and a bit more vroom to me, and even more feistiness. A lot of people saw my soft heart and probably thought, oh, naive and this and that. But I was clocking something deep inside that they couldn't see. Not to use it against them, but if somebody then really turns on myself and tries using fear to screw in my head, I can use the mirror reflection nicely to say to somebody what I really feel about them. And I don't have any fear of telling somebody about themselves. But I don't need to call names or lower the tone to do it, because I'm an adult. And that's what I think daily that we need to do, is work on ourselves. I think that's why even when I started doing healing and therapy and massage over 20 years ago, I was working on myself. There were a few things that came my way, yeah, tragically, that upset the status quo. But fundamentally, I had made a decision and choice that I would rather walk the path with God, knowing that God loves us and God can guide us, with any other human being that could really not have my best interests at heart. You're welcome. Oh, I don't try to do the blame game. I don't. I really, really don't. I try to come from the perspective of, if I could wave the magic wand and make it all right for people, I really would. But I'm also in the same respect now. It's like over the years, I won't be used and I won't be abused by people. I just won't fucking tolerate it. Quite simply. The deeper and deeper that you're going, and even the deeper that you introspect on yourself every single day in your mindfulness, or whether it's your meditation, your quiet time, or going walking out in nature to have that quiet time. Some people get it through running, whatever it is. What is it you claim that you want? In shadows, they fear commands. A throne with brittle sand. But respect carved in stone, it lives when you are gone. It's a crown that the soul has grown. Affirmations: I am worthy of respect because I live in my truth. Remind yourself of that. Start living in your truth. The strength is my consistency. My presence inspires. I know I inspire people over the years. I know I did it with my ex-former friends. Sarah came in, talking about business and stuff. A year later, I'm salvaging the business by trying to balance the books, my time, my energy. I've got my family, my business to run. Years later, doing other things as well for them. And then realizing that she was coming to college to come and learn something at the same time. But that obviously must have inspired her. But then she's trying to tell my other friend, oh, you can't come. As if creating jealousy and fear. And I just don't understand why people do those types of things, rather than being in totality of accepted people in the unison of who they are and making people feel comfortable about themselves or in any given situation. That's why, when you walk in someone's home and you feel comfortable, because they make you feel at home, they make you feel at peace. So that you can be yourself. Fear may vanish, but the respect you cultivate endures over time. If you want to, do this little manifestation That's like exercise. If you want, close your eyes. Visualize yourself walking into a room. Instead of imagining others shrinking away, imagine their shoulders lift and their eyes brighten. The energy expands. Anchor this image by pressing your thumb and forefinger together, as I said in your mudra. Each time you repeat this, you train your mind to embody respect rather than fear. Imagine the best case scenario. It's like I've done years ago, even in personal business and difficult situations sometimes. I've done some real shitty things. I've just felt the fear, braved it, and then got a knock on the door and resolved it. I've been the better person because I've chosen not to be bitter about something and hold on to resentment or fictitious fallacy memories that I could create in my head that aren't real about someone, rather than actually sitting down and understanding why something happened or why somebody behaved the way they did. If you can today, a mirror of presence, sit quietly, even after this session. Sit quietly. There's two versions of yourself. There's one cloaked in fear, rigid, intimidating, forcing others to bow. The second is cloaked in respect, calm, steady, dignified, and feel how this affects your aura with both. With the cloak of fear, notice the tension, the isolation, the barrier that you've created in yourself and others. With a cloak of respect and love, notice the openness, the flow, and the energy exchange that you have. These types of exercises in your psyche train awareness and how your energy is perceived. In psychic development, presence is everything. Your aura, your smile, the glint in your eye, how you behave with somebody. The respect that you radiate, it connects. Fear contracts. Fear isolates. Fear ignores. Fear closes doors. Love opens. Love is the key. God is love. So shouldn't we embody those types of things? The compassion, the love, the mercy, the forgiveness. And forgiving ourselves ultimately is the hardest part. But once you get to that stage, it's easy to forgive another because you can see it in the mirror for what it is. These types of exercise help with raising your awareness. By practicing in yourself the mindfulness every single day, then mindfulness in your own meditations, you start to learn that are you more grounded? Or are you feeling intimidated? Are you guarding your heart or are you opening your heart? Psychologically, this builds self-awareness with social intelligence. Spiritually, it teaches you to walk with integrity. Wield your energy. Just like the same when I go out, sometimes I project my aura in, sometimes I project my aura out, sometimes I'm quieter, but I'm always respectful. That's the way I am. I've always been like that since a teenager. It doesn't matter who I'm with, whether I'm in a shop or working in a shop or working online, or most of the time I try to just be myself, kind, respectful, and I'm aware of my own shadows, that even if something is happening, I try to instigate it beforehand because I know I've got the capability. It doesn't mean that I choose to do it most of the time, because when you become conscious of your own conscience, things become clear. And it's better to walk in integrity with a clear conscience every single day than to walk around with the disguise and the mask and the lies and the fear and the projection that you look at the end of the day and who are you? And that's why 2-3 years ago, a few times with a few people, I've asked them, not because I'm trying to project anything, but ask them the question so that you can philosophize in yourself, who are you? Ultimately, your values, your virtues, and what you stand for give you that grounding to know yourself. So you can't be swayed by another. If someone says, oh, you're such and such and such and such, you can be in total acceptance because you know yourself. Walking with integrity and wielding your energy that uplifts yourself and lifts others. So nothing ever feels like it's being suffocating. Close your eyes. Breathe into your chest, whether you want to count to 4 or count to 6 down. In each inhale, imagine drawing calm with dignity, calm through your crown, calm through your body, calm through your heart, radiating that calm and that love. With each exhale, release the need to control others, control situations. Inhale respect, exhale fear. Imagine a light building in your chest around your heart. And if you want to, in a meditation, I haven't done this in a while, but go into the heart. Sit in your pink heart. Is it fluffy? Is it full of blood? Is it hard? Could you sit there in your heart? Is it soft? Your heart is a safe space, not a hard space. Your heart is meant to feel what is real. So as you imagine this light in your heart, imagine your heart filling with all this love. And when you do individual meditations, or as we do collective meditations sometimes behind screens or in your home or in your own, wherever you may want to do a meditation, collectively you're connecting into the ether of the web of light. So that's why sometimes you can feel more of a connection to more people, because you're resonating that peace and that love into the collective grid. You're not feeding fear. You're giving love to God, you're giving love to earth, you're giving love to each other, in total acceptance and awareness that really we're all one. We all came from that source. We're all a light, we're all a soul. We've just come away from ourselves and we're in a physical form. The spirit is unlimited. The soul is eternal. The soul doesn't die. The soul has its own personality and its character, just the same as we do as a physical. Imagine as your light is building, it's steady and warm, this light is your integrity. It is your character, your presence, your love, your aura, your being, your every breath. And as you expand outward, filling the room, you feel your aura from your heart to the whole room. Now in your meditation, fill it to the whole house. If you're laying down and you're meditating, astral travel from your silver cord and fill the streets. And now you can fill the earth with that love to those that you meet. Expand it outwards. Don't shrink yourself for anyone. And see the faces illuminated in love, not fear. The recognition of your authenticity and theirs. Greeting people in the same tone and respect and integrity. Stay here for a moment or two if you want, or go back to this little mindful meditation in your own time. Taking 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes more is good enough. 10 minutes meditation, but if you want to go for 30 minutes or you feel even relaxed with more, go on a journey. Vision, see, believe. Anchor this truth into your body. You do not need to fear anything in this life. Respect is your crown. And when you feel ready, slowly return. Bring in the light with you wherever you go. So rewire the mind. Respect is not earned through dominance, it's built through consistency. Reframe the mind. Instead of asking, how can I make them obey? How can I make them do as they're told? Ask, how can I make them trust me? To respect me? That they'll just want to do it anyway. Food for the soul. Fear controls moments. Respect shapes legacies. So as we're nearing to the end of this session this evening, before I go to meditate after my stream and to chill and have a cup of tea with my own heart and wish those well and healing Reiki vibes. If you want to have Reiki healing, all you have to do is ask in your heart and mind, and wonders you will receive. Do you want to be feared or respected in life? Fear fades the moment you leave. Respect lingers, shaping how you will be remembered. And if you want to journal this and anchor yourself, remember that you respect yourself. It is a stoic power, a spiritual leadership, that you love instead of fear, you respect instead of hate. And the inner strength is that your mind is over your matter, that every single day you rewire your mind and things start to change. Fear fades, respect remains. Respect is the crown of your soul. I'm good, thank you, and you too. Your presence should lift, not crush. Power without respect is weakness in disguise. Be the echo, not threat. So as you stand at the edge of your own questions, and every soul must face the end of this to get to the next. Do you want to have obedience in your life, or do you want to have a legacy? Fear may break bodies, but strength bends. But respect shapes destinies, and shape your own with your own heart and soul. So take this with you tonight, write it in your journal, or if you found some of my words inspire you in your own way in how you conceive and perceive things. Breathe it into your bones, breathe the light into your bones, breathe the light into your heart, the lungs, the tissue, the spleen, the liver, the heart, and everything in between. Breathe that light into your lungs. Be that light for others sometimes. And before we close, I want to just say that if you've ever mistaken fear, instead choose respect, choose love. Always share your truth, because your truth is something that you have experienced. And thank you today for holding this space with me. All right. Your presence is never taken for granted. I don't take people for granted. I don't take people's time for granted. I cherish you and respect you. If you come to spend time with me, time is precious. So, and our time on this earth is too. And I've always made a conscious decision over the years that whoever I come into my life, I always try to make it good coming in as good as a going out too, even if that moment is a short time with you. So, until we meet again, or we walk this path in life, love, be love. I'm going now. I'm not coming on to do chat now. It's Saturday evening. I'm going to chill, going to get some munchies, and some some broccoli, some broccoli. But I decided to put it in some licorice because I thought, I put it in some licorice. I like the licorice. But remember that you are your own person. The only things that I can help is in guidance. I don't like to tell anybody what to do. There's too many chiefs and not enough Indians in life. But most of the times you find that the Indians are the ones that will make the changes. So Hunab Ku, this rainbow warrior, which I am as a grid keeper, a soul that is in my own divine, in the wisdom of knowing that I know nothing in life. I will not be intimidated by anybody else's limitations in this life and their own hypocrisy in their own disrespect. And I think that more of us should be empowered, women and men too, equally, and it's not hard to love and to be love and to embody that in yourself. So it's time. I think I finished. Because I've got a sweat on again. I thought it had about 8 today. Oh my. Yesterday I thought, yeah, but not long. I'll probably be on the hormones and the HRT, and after a couple of months, fingers crossed, it will start settling down. But I am going to take some estrogen next month, and I think that will too. So, I'm always looking at things holistically, which is holistic, whole of body, to complement the body for its minerals, its salts, its water, that we are, and an infinite being as a soul, really. When you think about it, what's to come? The infinite life beyond this earth. So, God bless. Till next time. Of light. Remember, you're amazing. I am too.